question is, are you ready? Let me talk to you. I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I can. What do you guys want to talk about? I am that damn good.
I am the B-E-S-T.
In the color red, in a world full of black and white, I am the eater of worlds. Yeah, if you're some man, acknowledge me. The champ is here. But to be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here. Hey, yo. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of PCW Podcast Championship Wrestling. I'm your host, Wayne, also known as Semi-Dry Chicken, and we are going to be talking about Saturday Night Main Event, John Cena's final match. We're going to also be covering some of his stats. We're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, perhaps. That and more. But in the meantime, let me bring in my co-host.
Hey, main event Jay Uso's now in your city. It's just me, ooh. Okay, day one, it's just me, ooh. Day one, it's just me, ooh. Okay, day one, it's Jay. A lot of ball up and knock them down like this. I did. Hey, it's on me now, ooh. Hey, I'ma get them all. I'ma get them all, ooh. Yeah.
Yo, what it do, PCW crew? Main event Dre Uso is back on your podcast, and it sounds like this one's going to be an interesting one for audio this episode.
Oh, yeah, I got some crackling on my end. I don't understand why. You know what, though? To be honest, I have a massive storm going on outside. I don't know if that might be interfering with my internet at all. Who knows? Well, we'll see. We'll see how
Let's
far
just say
we
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, blame it on the storm coming through.
Yep. All right. Let me invite our other co-hosts. And from Revisiting the Mania, welcome back, Carlos.
Hey, if you weren't surprised that I was here, now you are.
I know, right? No Doyle this week. No Tyler.
How coincidental that Doyle once again avoiding me.
Dude, we can't get you guys on the same fucking show together. Man. Well, I mean, I have this theory that Doyle is secretly on another podcast. Yeah, there's a theory I have.
Other massholes.
We'll have to lock you two in a steel cage where y'all can't hide from each other.
Yep. Yeah, talk it out.
Can't duck me forever.
I mean, yeah, this is like around, holidays. This is always when it's rough to get everybody together to record. So just fortunate enough, the episode's coming out, a few days later than normal. But we're making do. We were just talking about the Slammy Awards coming up. I like to do that after New Year's. Once the dust has settled and we're into the new year and everybody's, relaxed. Because we got so much stuff on the horizon here with the holidays, and it's just hard to get somebody to get all of us together. As much as it is just like the real families, trying to get you all together. I suspect not everybody's family lives extremely close, within like blocks of each other. So every year, it's a hassle getting everybody together, and it's the same thing here on PCW. That said, gentlemen, we got a Saturday Night Main Event to talk about here. Only 4 matches. Very interesting pay-per-view. Very interesting takes. Very ups and downs. I can't wait to get into this. After that, we got a couple other things to get into with Raw and possibly SmackDown. But, Dre, guess what I have coming in the mail tomorrow?
What's that?
I have a brand new PCW t-shirt coming in. The new logo. Directly from ProWrestlingTees.com.
Nice.
We got 4 new shirts up. We do have the DX and the NWO versions, which have been up before, but now we removed the QR code in the back. And the reason that being is it cuts down the price for everybody, believe it or not, just having the logo on one side. So I'm trying my best to get all the prices as low as I can. I'm always looking on Pro Wrestling Tees for those deals, free shipping or whatever. I'm subscribed, so I get all these texts throughout the day that they're having a deal maybe going on for an hour, or maybe a deal going on for the next 24 hours. So gotta keep going on there and checking it out. But I think I have 2. I have a t-shirt, and I know we just sold another one. Lena, a listener of the show, Lena bought a t-shirt. So nice. We did get.
Thank you, Lena.
Yeah, we did get. They didn't leave any, but they did leave 3 people left 5-star reviews. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't get the list of them, but I did see that on Apple. We had 3 more. So I haven't been on there in a long time. It's really hard to get the. I wish there was somewhere where I could go that would tell us all of our ratings, because I know people tell me they rate us on Spotify, and I know there's people who listen to us on Pandora. Then there's YouTube people who watch us on YouTube, even though we're just an audio only podcast. But some people put it on YouTube, put it on in the background. But yeah, it'd be nice to have one place where we gathered all the 5-star reviews. But I'm seeing them as I'm going across the board, as I log into some of these things, and I'm checking out the numbers. But man, it's been a good year though. Good year. We put in I had a Discord wrap up, and it said that me and Dre are best friends. It says we spent over 45 hours talking to each other this year. And I was thinking 45 hours, that must be when we switched over to recording on Discord, when Skype finally went, because we used to record on Skype,
which was in the middle of this year.
Yeah, exactly. So next year, if PCW is still going, which I assume, I would be really interested, Dre, to see what our wrap-up is for the year for that. How many hours did we truly put in this year?
Yeah.
Damn. Pumping in those hours.
That'd definitely be interesting to see as far as, especially at the end of 2026, what it really totals up to after a full year's worth.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had a few people tell us tell me that we were on their Spotify wrap-up this year, too. Some friends, Dwayne Coleman of the show, I think he brought that up to me. It's cool knowing that we're part of somebody's Spotify wrap-up for the year, regardless of what place we're in, Well,
if it is, post it, share it on your social medias, tag us.
Yeah, and we
Podcast Championship Wrestling, tag us on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And I think Apple also does a wrap-up of the year and stuff, and it seems like that's becoming a popular thing with social media. Certain outlets are doing a wrap-up of the year, of YouTube, I think, did one, maybe, and I even got one from my Fandango account, how many movies I watched this year, and how much I streamed. I was like, geez. It's like a report
Everybody
card.
does it now.
Right? And like I wonder if Xbox gives me one too, I think. But I feel some type of way like am I playing, are you trying to tell me I'm spending too much time on video games or not enough time? Speaking of video games, I have been digging into 2K26. I started playing the My Rise game mode, my creative player. But they kind of like forced my hand. I gotta create a female character and then play as two characters, one on each show. So I guess if you want to wrestle females, I guess, or have a female-driven storyline, you have to do both in the My Rise. Unlocking characters, using those coins that they give you to unlock characters. Unfortunately, like, there's a lot of characters I still want, but I can't do it through the game. I have to spend money, like real money. Brock Lesnar, for example, I want Brock Lesnar in my game, and it comes with Brock Lesnar's in that pack with Cena, which is R-Truth as John Cena, and it's the John Cena tribute package. And of course, everything is on sale on Microsoft. Everything, well, that's where I was getting it from Microsoft. Everything's on sale in the WWE 2K store, except the John Cena tribute package, which that would be the one that would be on sale, and everything else would be a normal price. But they're holding on. But I'm not paying $15, man. I'm not paying $15 for DLC like that. I'm sorry. Any of you guys playing any 2K
You gotta
at
get
all?
that money off you somehow.
Fuck that. No, man. No, you already got my money. I bought the fucking game. That's enough. All right, Carlos, are you playing 2K at all? Anybody else play it at all? Like any of the? I know there's like a My Island version where you're like a Samoan, I fighting the bloodline. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Nobody?
I am
played?
personally not playing.
No.
Carlos can tell us when he takes himself off mute, but I haven't played a wrestling game in forever.
Yeah, I haven't. Like, I have it downloaded because it came with my PlayStation subscription, but
okay.
No, I just haven't. I haven't had the time
to dig into it.
Dig into that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what though? Like I will say, guys, like the actual gameplay itself is really good. I enjoy it. Like that's why I've been digging into it. Because I'm like thoroughly enjoying it. Actually, Tyler Foster on the show, he's been over at my house and he actually has a creative player. So right now I'll tell you this, guys, we have it on hard. And the reason why I feel like if you can beat it on hard, then you can beat almost anybody who comes across you, right? Like any like player. And I like the challenge. I like the chase, man. So we entered the tag team tournament, and we got very far. We won the tournament. We got our number one contendership, and we won for the tag titles, and we lost. Womp womp womp. But
and it wasn't super hard.
Yeah, it was on hard, man. I think there's legendary after that. I think there's legendary after hard, but I mean,
who'd you lose to?
Man, I don't want to talk about it.
The War Raiders?
Yeah, dude, how'd you know?
I don't know. I just took a wild stab at it.
That was a wild stab. That was great.
Tag team.
Yeah, the War Raiders. But like, man, I think it was
Alpha Academy.
Yeah, dude, it was over some shenanigans, But not to say that like the tag team tournament bracket wasn't awesome. We beat the likes of Kane and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H. The New Day, and I can't remember who else we beat, but like it was just. It was a good tournament. We got really far, and then Leg sweep. Russian leg sweeped. And we're done. But the journey continues. It's the chase, man. So, but that's it for my video gaming wise. Dre, what are you eating?
Man, it's simple tonight. Just some ramen and PB&Js.
Nice. Not mixed together, I hope.
No, not mixed together.
Hey, man, to each their own, but whatever. Oh, man. With or without the crust? Are you one of those guys that it matters without the crust?
About the bread?
Yeah.
What am I, fucking 8 years old? Of course I keep the crust on.
Hey, man, there's
peeling the crust off of bread like I'm a kid still.
Dude, I know some grown ass men, some coworkers of mine who are out there eating Uncrustables, you know, because they don't want that crust. Every day, man, for years, every day this man packs an Uncrustable. He refuses to make the classic PB&J. All right, Carlos, what are you, man? Are you crust or no crust?
Or sandwiches?
Yeah.
I've always had the crust. I don't think I've ever been a no crust type of person.
Yeah. Do you think like the no crust is like just for PB&Js, or is that like all sandwiches across the board? I don't know how those people function. You know, is it like is there like a gray area? You know, like, oh, this is a tuna sandwich, and we keep the crust.
I don't know. Since I've never eaten a sandwich without a crust, I can't tell you.
If you're listening to the show,
or why they would do that,
write into us. Let us know. All right, I'm done. I'm done. Dre, all right, you can have it, man. Take it. Take it. Take the show. Just take it.
All right, so guess we can start with this Saturday night main event, which, like Wayne said, only 4 matches. And obviously this was based around the idea that John Cena had, given that this was his retirement, that he wanted to showcase the future of WWE. So every match featured a WWE superstar, veteran, top main roster person taking on NXT talent. Basically the younger guys, the up-and-comers. And the first one on the docket featured our WWE champion, Kadarius Raheem Rhodes, taking on the NXT champion of Obafemi. And this was, up until the finish, I thought this was a good match. Cody made Oba look like $1 million out there. Oba pretty much played the power game, was pretty dominant throughout most of the match. I mean, Cody did get his offense in here and there, but pretty much anytime he started to get a run going, Oba had a way to shut it down. That's how you make your up and coming guy look good, make him look strong. And then just as things got cooking, in came old Drew to fuck it up, resulting in a no contest, or I don't know, maybe Cody won by disqualification or some bullshit. But basically, we did not get a clean finish, which is pretty much what I predicted in our prediction show was going to happen. So, but overall, Oba looked great. Oba looked like $1 million. Cody made him look great, and if Oba don't get called up to the main roster in 2026, then somebody's dropping the ball. Because I didn't see anything in this match that said he ain't main roster ready.
Mm-hmm.
I think the audience and I know the going plan is that probably going to get Gunther versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. Some people have speculated that we might get Gunther versus Lesnar and Lesnar's rumored retirement match, which may come next year. That's all well and good, and I'm not saying I don't want Gunther versus Lesnar at some point. Y'all can do that for WrestleMania. It's the big show. Get the big names. Gunter, Brock Lesnar, fine. But Brock Lesnar's retirement match at this point, whenever that happens, I want his opponent to be Obafemi. That's my pick. That's my choice. Because, like I said, he's main roster ready.
Mm-hmm.
And ain't no point in keeping him around on NXT anymore. What are your thoughts on this, Wayne?
Man, I like this match. Well, what part of it that we had? For the opening match, it was a smart move, making this the opening match. The rumors that were going around that we were going to get Cena first, I was laughing at because I was like, "There's no fucking way. There's no way." What a better person on the NXT roster than Obafemi to go against Cody. The aura that he puts out when he comes out, you know, I can totally see it catching on to the main roster. You know, there's a lot of people who haven't seen him before, who don't understand the entrance, you know, the singing along, the movements that he puts out. You know, some of us aren't ready for it, but I think this is it right here. You're planting the seeds. Now I'm an Obafemi guy. Now I'm like, I want to see where this guy goes, and I hope it's to the main roster. I think this was a great showing for him. He had a lot of great spots, man. The way he was handling Cody around that ring, the way he tossed his ass over that the announcer's table, and he's a big guy to launch himself over that table, man. You know, and taking that ring post spot when Cody moving out of the way, like he was going like a damn freight train. We saw Cody get his ear busted open at some point. I don't know where or when that happened. There's a lot of blood for that. Drew interfering. Yeah, we all kind of saw that coming. Again, my feelings of Drew going for the world title against Cody again is just Drew being fed to Cody for another L. I hate it because I know that's what we're going to get. I mean, heel Drew has been champion for all but 5 minutes. We haven't gotten a true heel Drew McIntyre WWE run, or champion run. With that said, I did see something that I was quite interested in. I want to see Drew McIntyre and Obafemi get in the ring together. That piqued my interest a little bit. Oh, look at this.
I'm sure we're going to get that at some point.
Oh, yeah, dude, for sure. For sure. And the seeds are planted. Once Drew wraps up with Cody, that'd be a great first, feud for him to have if he comes to the main roster. Him and Drew right off the bat, I'm all for it, man. I hope we see him in the Rumble. That'd be great. If we're bringing anybody from NXT to put in the Royal Rumble, Obafemi. For sure. We just know how the process works. Like, the man's NXT champion right now, and that title has to be handed down to the next guy before this man goes to the main roster. That's how I...
Yeah, I mean...
It's just the story, how we're getting there.
That was already...
Oh, yeah.
I was saying, a lot of us thought that was already going to happen when he dropped the title previously to Ricky Starks.
Right.
I'm sorry, Ricky Saints.
Right.
We thought he was going to get called up then, but apparently not, because he came back and immediately reclaimed the title.
Right, and you know what, Trey? Like, I hope he's not like what we had with Braun Breaker, where we were like, oh yeah, Braun should be called up, like, he's going to probably be called up like next week, right? And they held on to Braun for a long time down in NXT before they finally let him go to the main roster, and I hope this wasn't a tease. I hope this was a gateway match to the main roster. Carlos, let's get your opinion in on here.
Yeah, I thought this was a very good match for Obafemi. I think this was not only like validation that he deserves to be the NXT champion again right now, but also any type of maybe doubt or maybe hesitance that Hunter or somebody might have on bringing him up. I think those might have been laid out, quieted a little bit more, because he proved that he's got a good following and that he can work. So I like the match. This is one of the few Cody Rhodes matches I liked, and since he's had a title reign, and I really can't say anything more about the match that you guys haven't touched over. But I would like to say that it's kind of disappointing also, because it makes me realize that Trick Williams is still kind of like in between, like that. I guess either he's gonna be called up or he's not. He's kind of in limbo. Like, is he gonna be called up and then he goes to TNA and then he goes back to NXT? So I don't know when they plan on doing something, but I'd like Trick to be able to come up first before anything with Obafemi gets done.
Well, on that subject, since you did bring up Trick Williams, and that is a valid point, that Oba's getting all this shine and Trick is kind of getting lost in the sauce right now, which is kind of weird, because I think Trick was one of those guys that we thought was going to get called up. I think earlier this year, like at the beginning of this year, some of us had predicted that, like, Trick Williams is going to get that main roster call up in 2025, and clearly it didn't happen. But I have seen rumors floating around on social media today from some wrestling outlets that apparently Trick Williams is rumored to be one of those guys that's going to get a call up to Raw or SmackDown in the beginning of 2026. So hopefully, though, it is true and not just rumor. Hopefully that does come to pass, whether he makes a debut on maybe the Raw premiere. I mean, not the Raw premiere, the beginning of the year. Yeah, the Netflix 1 year at the beginning. Maybe he makes an appearance then and he's called up or something. But if that is the case, I hope they do call him up sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
Especially to kick off. That'd be a nice way to kick off the year. With everything else they got going on with Raw, which we know that they're trying to make this a big show, obviously, for the 1 year. That wouldn't be a bad thing to do, A Trick Williams call up, this guy with a main roster debut, let him get some momentum going into the Rumble or something. I'm not opposed to that. I'd rather them do it, before WrestleMania than after, especially if he's a talent that they have some plans for. And he's not just like, all right, you're on the main roster now. We'll figure it out. So, yeah, if it was up to me, I would like to see him, come up at the beginning of the year and see some action building up to WrestleMania weekend rather than being one of those post-WrestleMania debuts.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's going to come to the main roster post-WrestleMania, I could see that being Oba. I could see him staying on, Netflix, on NXT through WrestleMania, through Stand and Deliver, which that is NXT's WrestleMania weekend PLE pay-per-view, right? Stand and Deliver?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see him staying at least through then. Maybe he remains champion through then, drops the title at Stand and Deliver to whoever, Tony D'Angelo, Ricky Saints, or whoever they think is their next top male star. He drops it then. Post-Mania, Raw or SmackDown, Oba makes his main roster debut. And then we're off to the races from there.
All right. Now, do you think that he's a Raw talent and not like a SmackDown type of guy?
I don't know. I think I would say it probably depends on where Trick Williams goes. I think whatever show Trick ends up on, I could see Oba ending up on the other show.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I would say Oba probably would be a SmackDown talent, given what we just saw on Main Event with him having the match with Cody and then getting mixed up with Drew, and obviously both of them are currently on SmackDown. So, barring any roster change-ups, I could see probably Oba being on SmackDown, and I could definitely see Trick debuting on Raw.
Okay.
Sweet deal.
Wayne, what do you think?
You know what? I the way pro wrestling has gotten over the years, it's hard to say like what roster some wrestlers are going to be going to, because it's where the character fits, where they can be properly written into in the story. And I think Rumble, we get like, some of these, it feels like the crowd like, ooh, we want to see this, when we see, you guys remember, I can't remember what year it was, Keith Lee getting into the ring with Brock Lesnar at the Rumble. We never got there, but the tease of it was fucking delicious, man. The idea of Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar going at it head to head. At the time, Keith Lee was, I think North American and NXT champion. We given certain contract reasons and Brock not being there and Keith Lee getting let go, we just never got it. We never got to that. But
and Vince's terrible booking,
terrible fucking booking of such
not
a
forget,
dropping.
that man had all that momentum.
He had so much fucking momentum, man. So much,
and then Vince goes and says, "You're a bear cat, Keith Lee." What
right. So, like, when that's what I mean. Like, when we get to the Rumble, we get little teases of something we could possibly be getting in the future, and I think that's what I hope we get. And maybe he shows up in the Rumble, and we see him get face to face with certain wrestlers on the main roster and get that feel. I don't know who yet, but like I feel like we'd find out once he's in that ring, mixing it up with some other main roster guys. But yeah, what a perfect time.
Well, after the showing he just had on Main Event, they'd be foolish not to put him in the Rumble.
Right. And
if
that's
that's
another
the
thing.
case-
Yes.
I
if
think
that's
he's
the case-
definitely going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him
that's
and
the case,
Trick will
given that-
definitely be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see. I would definitely love to see them both in there. Like I said, and if Oba is in the Rumble, given what we've already gotten, I would expect him to mix it up, presumably with Drew McIntyre if Drew's in there.
Yeah.
At least with Drew, obviously with other people as well, but I would at least expect those two to come face to face again in that match.
Yeah, so let's
And they can tease
get
plenty
that
of other
tease.
things. I mean, they can tease Gunter and Oba.
Ooh.
They could tease practically any big man.
Mm-hmm.
Even something as simple as like a Sheamus and Oba stare down would get a reaction probably out of the crowd.
Yeah. Hey, he's a big man. Give it to me, dude. I want it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest pops would come from him potentially mixing it up with the big names.
Yeah.
Him
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
face to face with a Gunther, or him getting face to face with a Roman Reigns, or getting face to face with Drew. Like, especially like him and Roman. Like, imagine that stare down.
Yeah, I would. I'd be pretty damn excited. Better hurry up. Get this man to the main roster. Let's get him into some of these matches before some of these guys are gone.
You got time.
Yeah,
You don't need to
A
rush
little bit
it.
of time.
especially with the way he was getting the reception he was getting. You want to make sure it's done right, because any little misstep or anything that you can cause to ruin any type of momentum he's building will end up setting him back, I think.
Yeah, somebody like Oba. Yeah, we're all itching to see him on the main roster, but like you said, they definitely need to take their time. with
Yeah.
him.
Not too
I
long,
can see
though,
him
'cause
show up in the
sometimes
Rumble.
people wait too fucking
let-
long.
Well, yeah, they don't have to push him out to like 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I do think he should come on the main roster this year. But again, if I was working the timetable, I would debut him on the main roster post Mania. He doesn't have to be on the main roster to be in the Rumble. Like I said, we all know NXT guys should show up in the Rumble. So he can show up in the Rumble. Let him get some of those. Let him mix it up with the guys. Let him, have a pretty strong showing. Eliminate a number of people. Get some stare downs, or maybe few exchanges, or at least teases of some exchanges with some of those big name guys, like a Gunther, Roman, Drew. And then at some point he gets eliminated. Like, I would say, if they want to really push the envelope, you could have him make it to the Final Four, although I doubt that highly. But I could see him maybe one of the last 6 in the match. I think that would be a strong enough showing for him. If, say, he debuts somewhere in the 20s, in like the early 20s, and then he's one of the last 6, I think that would, and he gets some eliminations in between, I think that would make for a strong showing. And then from there, he can go back to NXT, wrap up his business there through Stand and Deliver in WrestleMania, then bring him onto the main roster in whatever form. Give him some matches, first major feud. But the main bullet points for me would be strong showing in the Rumble, debut after WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar's last opponent at SummerSlam, and let him retire Brock Lesnar. If he can accomplish those 3 things in this year, I think that would make for a successful 2026 for Oba, and maybe finish up the year maybe with the U.S. or Intercontinental title run or title reign. I think that would make for a strong debut year on the main roster for him.
Yeah. We'll see how they book him.
Yep. All right. So, next match. After this, we switched over to the ladies. We have Ailey facing NXT's Sol Ruca. One-on-one match. And if you thought Cody made Oba look great in that first match, Bayley worked her absolute tail off and made Sol Ruca look like $1 million. And that's not to take anything away from Sol. Like, Sol Ruca looked excellent in this match too. She, again, another one, looks main roster ready. Well, I won't say that fully, but I still think she could use still a little bit more time on NXT, but she's definitely shows that potential. You can see it. Like, she can mix it up. She can get in there with a veteran like Bayley. Like how, some people have said in the past that, like, Miz, as far as the men's wrestler, is like the litmus test for wrestlers to see if they've got it, what it takes. Where they're somebody that's like a newcomer or an up and comer, they put them in a match with the Miz to see can they hang. And it's like, if you can't have a good match with the Miz, then you ain't it. If you can have a good match with the Miz, then you've got something. Bayley is kind of like that same thing with the women. She's like the litmus test for the women. You have a match with Bayley. If you can't have a good match with Bayley, you need to go back to class. Mm-hmm. You need a little bit more time, a little bit more practice. And clearly with Sol Ruca, that was not the case in this match. Their match was seamless. I can't recall any noteworthy mistakes or botches that occurred in the match. Again, Bayley made her look like $1 million. Even went so far as putting Sol Ruca over. Sol Ruca getting the pin.
Yeah.
Over Bayley on a counter roll up after Bayley kind of tried to outsmart her a little bit after Sol Ruca hit the best finisher in the women's wrestling today, the Soul Snatcher. Hits that, doesn't get the pin. Bayley Sol Ruca tries to pull her back in. Whoop! Bayley snatches her up for a pinfall. Sol Ruca reverses it for the 3. Like, great finish, great match. Mm-hmm. And then obviously Bayley gives her, her credit afterwards. So, again,
yeah, Dre,
this one.
I would say you make a great point though when you say like she's a great like just like Bayley is with comparing her to the Miz, having
The litmus test thing.
Yeah, dude, I think it's absolutely true. Because if you can't have a match with Bayley, then yeah, maybe you need to go back to NXT. Because beautiful match, dude. Absolutely. We have a couple of wrestlers like that where I believe Dolph Ziggler almost felt like that type of guy as well. A lot of new guys would always come up to the roster, the main roster, and it's like, oh, you got to have a match with Dolph Ziggler, first thing.
Yeah, exactly. Dolph was one of those as well. Plus, Dolph was one of those guys who could sell for anybody and make
right. Yeah,
make a guy look like $1 million just selling for him. So if you had like a big guy that you were going to push really hard and you wanted to make them look strong, yeah, put him in a match with Dolph Ziggler. He'll sell everything for him and make him look like $1 million. Bayley's a little bit different because like it's not so much that she's selling for the opponent to make them look great. She's testing them in the ring. You know, can you keep up with the pace? Can you stitch one move together with the next one? Where's your ring awareness? Where's your ring generalship? Can you put on a competent, good quality match on the level that it needs to be at to be on the main roster? And if you can, it'll show. If you cannot, it will show. And in this match, it definitely showed that Soruka 100% can. I mean, she had some really dope spots in this match. Like even at the beginning where they had a little bit of chain wrestling back and forth, seamless. One part off the rope where I forgot what move Bayley went for, but Soruka countered it by walking on her hands, and then came back to catch Bayley with her legs for a head scissor takedown. Like, come on. Like, again, not saying that Soruka is main roster ready. I do still think she needs a little bit more time in NXT before getting called up. But if she gets called up in 2026, I would not be mad, and I think she could fit right in seamlessly. Where you at, Carlos? Hop in here.
Yeah, I agree with mostly everything you said there. I think if Soruka does end up debuting, it'll probably have to be, maybe they have it be just like how we're saying with Oba debuting after WrestleMania or after Stand and Deliver, because I think they still need to finish off whatever they're doing between, is it Zaria?
Zaria,
yeah. The whatever like tension or breakup that they're doing with or kind of like laying the Bret or foundation for it, So I think that needs to be taken care of before, like storyline wise, because I don't think there's anything else Soruka has going on in there as far as storyline wise. I think that's where the only thread that remains. This match is concerned, she did a very good job. Maybe get a little bit more crisper or more comfortable on performing some of her moves a little bit quicker or more smoother. So it doesn't look like, because there were times and a couple of spots where Bayley had to wait for her to be comfortable to either do the Soul Snatcher or other like high spot kind of moves. And I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but if you're gonna be, go ahead.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you are right about that, because now that you mentioned it, the Soul Snatcher was pretty seamless, but there was a spot I think later on in the match where she did she walked the top rope and then turned it into a DDT or something like that. And there was a time where Bayley was just sitting there hunched over and looking back, like just waiting for seemed like an eternity, even though it was a couple of seconds. But like you said, in a wrestling match, those few seconds really stand out.
Right.
Yeah, especially like we're living in an age now where you need constant attention. Like, sometimes people are looking at their phones in the movie theater just because they need something. If they think like the movie's boring or something like that, then we need something that's always keeping us busy. So you can't have anyone look away even for a second because you need to always constantly have their eyes on the screen or eyes on the match, or else they'll miss whatever they're supposed to pop for or something.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like she seems like she is main roster ready. I don't see when they'll be able to bring her up because I think that storyline, like I mentioned, has to be cleaned up. But it's gonna be interesting to get these women on here. It seemed for a while that we weren't gonna have any like influx of younger women. We were always gonna be talking about the 4 horsewomen. And now that Alexa Bliss came back, and Alexa, it seems now that we finally, some of them are finally answering the call and stepping up and progressing there. So we'll get a little bit of rejuvenation with the women's division, either on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, and she's probably a shoo-in for the Rumble this year, don't you think?
Yeah.
So Ruka.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And they'll probably have her try to take over that Kofi spot. If not her, maybe Kalani, if they even get Kalani Jordan up for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see definitely So getting doing that stuff like that, like Kofi. Speaking of the Women's Rumble, I've been wanting to bring this up for a while now.
Uh-oh.
This Royal Rumble for the women in 2026 is potentially going to be stacked.
Stacked.
Like, think about it. So, assuming that the 2 champions right now remain champion going into the Rumble, that's Stephanie Vaquer and Jade Cargill.
Correct.
This is who we potentially have. This is who we could all have in the Women's Royal Rumble. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, AJ Lee, Nikki Bella, Bayley, Bianca Belair, if she's presumably healthy,
Oh, yeah.
Alexa Bliss, Sol Ruka.
Yeah.
Like, just those names alone, just that level of talent alone. And I know I'm forgetting Tiffany Stratton,
Chelsea
Nia
Green.
Jax, Lash Legend, Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Asuka.
You're right, dude. The
Kairi
healthiest
Sane.
we've had in the women's
This is
roster.
about the healthiest that the women's roster has been in a long time. And we're going to have potentially all of these women in the Rumble.
Yeah, and you still
Liv
have
Morgan, Roxanne Perez,
legends
Raquel
that could show
Rodriguez.
up. You still have healthy legends that could show up. Healthy wrestlers like Trish Stratus
You
could
could
show
have
up.
a Trish Stratus show up. Exactly.
Yeah.
You could have a Lita pop up. Like,
Oh man.
Yeah, the Victoria.
Yeah.
a Victoria. Lyra. I mean, like, the roster right now is probably about as strong as it's been, which leads credence to, the fact that Sol Ruka does not need to be called up right now, aside from the fact that, like you said, Carlos, that she does still have unfinished business in NXT, but she's still probably going to be in that Rumble and should have a fairly strong showing. But, man, it's going to be some competition in that Rumble. I don't know who the hell's who they're going to pick to win.
At least
we can talk about that when it gets closer to the Rumble.
Right,
Right now, there ain't no obvious choice.
Yeah, and there's enough women's titles now, in the business that her coming up, like, she could go for an IC title or a United States title before, getting a world title.
What, as a Rumble winner?
No, not as a Rumble winner. I mean, just coming up in the roster. Like, there's just so much opportunity, Before there was only, 2 titles to chase. But now, we talked about last episode that the tag team division is stacked. And it hasn't been like that in a while. It wasn't like that in the beginning of the year. We were not talking about the women's tag team titles, in a very positive way at the beginning of the year. But we said we needed more tag teams, and that's what we got. We got it, and now we have more titles and more opportunity for the women. So somebody like Sol Ruka could fucking shine on the main roster. I definitely see her holding the IC title for sure. She seems like an IC title. For sure.
Yeah, she could hold any belt, really.
Yeah.
I could see her with. I mean, they may hold her off down at NXT for a while. She may get a run as NXT Women's Champion. There's space for her to do that there.
Yeah. Dude, like she was great in this match. Like that handspring that she does, that she goes up over and clears that top rope, man. Like I just think it's awesome when any wrestler can do that. Like of any size, that you can clear that top rope. Like think about it, man. Like Dre, think about you and your like whatever you feel like your prime was, right? And like I don't care if it's like fucking high school or last week. Like, dude, at your best, do you think you could like jump over that and clear that? I don't think I could.
Dude, I'm 5'3". I'm not clearing that shit on my best day. I'm hitting the ropes like Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, right.
I'm bouncing off that middle rope.
Damn, like I just think, and then like not just a lot of people forget like how far away the ring is to the ground when you're jumping off that top rope and you gotta land on the ground. Sometimes there's not somebody there to always catch you. Undertaker, cameraman caught the Undertaker one time as he cleared that top rope, but to do that handspring,
did not catch him like he was supposed to.
No, he did not. The camera caught him. Yeah, and then you were talking about that DDT spot on the rope, the top rope. That was awesome. They totally.
I mean, she countered the rose plant with a front flip or a cartwheel.
Yeah,
like there was so many moments in this match where Sol Ruka's athleticism shined.
Yeah, and while we were watching the match, because I have a couple people over, in the middle of the match, I'm like, oh man, you guys gotta see her finisher, the Soul Snatcher. Like, it's fucking awesome. And then, you kind of get the feel when she's setting up for it, but sometimes it kind of just comes out of nowhere. But I was like, oh, here it comes. I was like, oh, they gotta show it again. Because it's so cool, man. It just happens so fast. And I'm just like, ooh, even in my 2K game, that's like one of my finishers. It's the Soul Snatcher. It's just hard to pull off. But, dude, for the second match of the night, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like, we're doing good. This is 2 for 2. All right. Give me another good match. I was, dude, considering the last few pay-per-views we've been having, I think we got the right NXT guys on this PLE. So
yeah, they definitely did well in terms of who they chose to showcase in this.
Yep.
Which, if we're done here, that takes us to the third match, which was AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, the World Tag Team Champions, facing the team of NXT's Javon Evans and in an unprecedented move, his homeboy from TNA. And I'm blanking on his name right now.
Javon Evans and Leon Slater?
Leon, yeah. God damn it.
Yeah, Leon Slater.
Slater, that's what it is. That's why I was blanking on his last name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The TNA X Division champion, Leon Slater. And you want to talk about a match that did not stop from the moment the bell rung. These dudes straight came out the gate full speed, 100 miles and running. And did not let up. And kind of sadly, this match was only like 8 or 9 minutes. But they packed a lot into those 8 or 9 minutes. I mean, like I said, just one move after the other. High flying moves after the other. It was you almost you would run out of breath just watching them in the match. That's what it felt like. And if this is what you wanted to showcase for the tag teams, couldn't have picked better. Couldn't have picked the worst team. Even the one mistake that happened in the match, where AJ Styles went for the phenomenal forearm, they played it off so well, you almost question whether it was a real botch or if AJ did it on purpose as part of the flow of the match. One, because AJ's just that damn good that he can deliberately, quote unquote, botch, and it's just him doing a move, and he's so good he makes it look like a botch. But but assuming that it was an actual slip of the ropes, the ropes may have been sweaty or whatever. Shout out to Leon Slater, because he immediately reacted. Like, he didn't sit there and look like, oh shit, he crashed. What do I do? Nope. Leon Slater immediately hopped on, went for the pin. Excellent ring psychology. Excellent ring psychology. That's a natural reaction of what you would do. Oh, this dude just crashed and burned off the rope. Let me see if I can get a quick pin. And shout out to Wade Barrett, too, for commenting on that and highlighting that for the people at home, so that they're not focused on, oh, wow, man, he just botched. Nope, you explain it away in a logical way that makes sense. So shout out to everybody involved in that moment, because that was everybody being on the same page and reacting quickly to cover up what could have been a real sore thumb moment. But like I said, other than that, everything about the match was frantic, kinetic, and great for what it was. I almost wish it could have gone longer, but those guys might have ran out of breath if it had gone on any longer. Where you at on this one, Wayne?
Dude, right. You're absolutely right, man. Like a bull right out the fucking gate. These guys were going 100 miles an hour. I mean, so fast. I think that's what both of us said in the Discord. It's like, oh man, these guys are going 100 miles an hour. They definitely kind of said to AJ Styles, like, look, let us do all the flips and crazy jumps and stuff, and give you the night off, because, I mean, AJ Styles is having, I think, some of his best matches this year. He's in the tag division. He's done, dare I say it, phenomenal. I think this was a great match. I don't know these two wrestlers very well. But
these were the ones we told you to watch.
Exactly.
We told you to keep an eye on these guys, because they're going to put on the show.
How about these two guys coming to the main roster? I mean, the idea of possibly, let's make these guys a tag team. I mean,
as far as that goes, it's way too soon.
Yeah, it's way too soon. But down the road, you ever reunite these guys again? Absolutely. I'd be excited
down
for
the road, the future is incredibly bright for the both of them. I mean, they're both only 21 years old.
Exactly, they got a bright future ahead of them.
They have years. God willing, they've got tons of years ahead of them, and both of them got plenty of work to do. And obviously keep in mind, Leon Slater is a TNA talent.
I was just about full TNA, right? He's not just an XT wrestler holding a TNA title.
No, he's full TNA. He is the X Division champion.
Okay.
In TNA.
Yes.
AJ Styles' old title.
Right. Okay. Nice. Good. Nice fact there. See, I'm learning things.
He's the X Division champion. So, I mean, he's full on TNA, which, I mean, that's something, I think pretty unprecedented. I don't know that a non-WWE talent has been showcased on a platform of this magnitude before, aside from, obviously, Joe Hendry getting his moment at WrestleMania, but on a television platform this big as Saturday Night Main Event,
right?
I don't know that anybody non-WWE's gotten a showcase or a highlight like this before. Carlos, what are your thoughts on this match?
Regardless of the botch or the questionable botch that we're not sure if it was done purposefully, this was my match of the night for me. It was a very like fast-paced match, which we would expect because mostly everyone is used to working, I guess you can call it a cruiserweight or now X Division type of style, where we would get like fast-paced, high-flying moves and things like that, all the high spots. So even though we had that, and I was just imagining like if they had more time, I think it would show up and it would show up John Cena's last match, or like maybe like, but who knows if maybe AJ got hurt, if that wasn't a botch and they were just like, just go home and we'll just go like that. So we don't have those little details on maybe it was supposed to go for another 2 to 3 more minutes more or 5 more minutes after, what would have happened if AJ didn't botch. So, but regardless of that botch, I still think that all of these guys, not all of them, because AJ is going to retire soon. Dragon Lee's still kind of middling here. I don't think he's getting the rub or anything that they expected to get from AJ. But it showcased these two guys, like Javon Evans needed more shine, but he's got it.
He's been getting a ton of shine over the last couple of months.
So, but it was good to see this, Leon Slater, because I don't watch TNA. I've never been interested in watching TNA. I'm not sure why, but now I'm like, maybe I'll start watching, see what Leon can actually do.
I mean, Carlos, let's be real, right? It's time, man. Like, there's so much wrestling in the week, and they made the announcement that SmackDown is going back to 3 hours. It's like, oh, wonderful.
There's so much wrestling in the week. Also,
so much.
What is TNA currently airing on? If that's not a question that you can quickly answer off the top of your head, then most people, chances are you don't know where to catch it when it does air.
Right.
So if you don't know where it's at, you don't know where to. You're not going to watch it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody knows Raw, Netflix, SmackDown, USA, even AEW, Dynamite, TBS, and Collision, TBS. Like, you know where to find those immediately if you want to watch them. TNA, I don't know. Now, word is that they're supposed to be getting a TV deal, I think, with is it AMC, I think?
Yeah, AMC.
Yep.
Yeah, that they should be getting that a TV deal with. That should hopefully help them out a tremendous deal when they get that. And I'm going to say that AJ that was a real bosh from AJ. Just looking at it.
Oh yeah, they saved it so well.
He definitely slipped. But again, everybody just immediately reacted to it. And you can see kind of after the match, too, when it was over, AJ kind of had a bit of an upset look on his face.
Right.
Like he was mad at himself for botching that spot.
Yeah, he's the elder guy in the ring. You figured he's done that phenomenal for him so many times, and he's the only one that trips up.
Yeah, and a guy of his caliber, is obviously such a perfectionist. So, any little mistake he makes, he's mad at himself for it. But other than that, man, I'm with you, Carlos. This, as far as in ring, this was the match of the night. It was, like I said, it was top notch. It was a great match. Any other final thoughts on this before we get to the main event?
No, we're 3 for 3, man. 3 for 3 on good matches so far.
Of these matches, all three of these first 3 matches, not a single one of them was longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I told you when this match finished, I'm like, this is gonna. They had like a good half hour or 40 minutes of filler to get in here.
Oh, they definitely did. But I mean, as far as like the pacing of the show itself, it wasn't noticeable in real time as I was watching it, because it seemed like they were timing everything out pretty well. Because by the point of this match ending, we were well into like the 9:00 hour, and obviously we were probably expecting, okay, this thing's going to go to. We were expecting, the typical 2 hours. It'd go towards 10 o'clock. So it seemed like, okay, they left themselves enough time to have the main event and whatever post-match activity was and still be out by 10 o'clock. Obviously, they went beyond 2 hours, but it seemed like the pacing was good. But looking back at it, it's like, damn, these matches were short as fuck. But like I said, they didn't feel like it watching it. But yeah, 9 minutes and 10 seconds for the Cody Oba match, 9 minutes and 25 for Bayley and Sol Ruka, 6 minutes and 30 seconds for the tag team match. That's fucking crazy.
Which we probably, if like we said, if they didn't botch, maybe we would have gotten to the 9-minute or 10-minute mark.
Right. They probably could have. But we thought we were about to get the main event next, but instead, no. We got The Miz coming out here and said, y'all motherfuckers gonna hear from me on this of John Cena's final match night. He said he won't hear for the bullshit. He don't give a damn about that tournament. He should have been the last opponent. He talked his shit. And I was there for it. I'm like, damn right, Miz. Get your shit off in this last moment. Just for him to get interrupted by R-Truth. Which, as down as I am on R-Truth since he's gone back to this, in this moment I was laughing. I was like, of course R-Truth is going to come out there and interrupt him. And of course, R-Truth brought the ball to call back to, which, pretty smart. I mean, I guess nice as far as storytelling goes. Call back to Miz swapping somebody's name out to get himself that second shot in the tournament. And lo and behold, who did he cost? Who did he screw out of the tournament? The man who appears when you invoke his name. Mr. Joe Hendry himself.
Voldemort.
He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
All right.
Yep. Joe Hendry himself shows up, and then they both put the beat down on Miz. Even give a little John Cena tribute with a dual 5-knuckle shuffle. This was it was a harmless, fun segment. It was funny. I laughed at it. I was entertained. I have no complaints about it.
Yeah, he got them both.
This is type. Go ahead.
I was saying he got, John Cena obviously has history with R-Truth and The Miz, and having him on the card at all, getting any TV time. I feel like that's a nice little bow to them, thank you. So he may not have gotten, a match with them, in the past few weeks, but he got to get him on the card, and then Joe Hendry and him a little bit of TV time, and of course every time Joe Hendry's on, I mean, I fucking love the way they just do the timing and the zooming in on his face. It happens so quick. That's what makes me laugh, man. It happens so quick, and they zoom in on his fucking face, and I'm just dying. Ever since they did it at WrestleMania with him and Orton, they did it again. I was like, this is great. We didn't get too much of Joe Hendry, just enough. So
exactly, just enough. This is the type of comedy segment that, when done right, works excellently, and this was done right. Good timing, nice change of pace. Segment didn't overstay its welcome. It didn't drag on any longer than it needed to. So, yeah, I had no complaints. This worked out perfectly, in my opinion. Any thoughts on this, Carlos?
Yeah, the segment was pretty good. I think it did what it was supposed to do. It kind of created that buffer. Like that, we mentioned how that tag team was a very hot match. So I don't know if this was done off the cuff as filler, since we mentioned like 9, that's at 18, 6 minutes. 25 minutes of actual ring time, somewhere along those lines. So that means, like, production wise, we probably wanted that match to go on, and I'm gonna say Eastern time here because that's where you guys deal with, like around 9:30,
Right.
So
Right.
we had like I mentioned on the Discord when we were chatting and watching this. Well, they'd had maybe like a good half hour to kill, so this was one way of filling that time, and it closed off, kind of a thread, which I'm always a fan of closing threads and closing up storylines when you can do it. And this, saw that Miz threw away a ball, and we finally got an answer of who it was. I think we all were thinking when the John Cena final match tournament was beginning that Joe Henry would actually be in this, and our surprise, he wasn't. So I guess they found a way to retcon that, which was pretty good on their part. And it was a pretty good comedy, a little palate cleanser, as you can say. So I have no issues with this.
Yeah. Like I say, 100% right on that. Like tying up loose ends, closing those threads. Yeah, this was a very well done, well executed segment here. So that only leaves the last match, John Cena's final match against Gunther. And obviously, Gunther came out to a chorus of boos and all this, that, and the third. And did they really dragged out John Cena's arrival? It felt like Gunther stood in that ring for like a whole minute before they finally hit John's music.
Right, but like the whole time Gunther's standing there, man, he's just deadpan, just dead face, man, like no emotion, like. But that's what I kind of wanted to see from him, and that he did it.
Unaffected, just stone-faced, focused.
Yup.
But that's WWE and their flair for the dramatic, which of course before he actually comes out, they cut the lights and then hit the music. And then the whole place loses their absolute fucking marbles. Everybody's feeling all the emotions, all this, that, and the third. And then light everything up as, the music hits. He comes out. So, at what point, Wayne, since you're the biggest Cena fan of the three of us, at what point did the emotions start to hit you?
Oh, dude,
in this match?
It honestly, it was right from the get go. It was right from the entrance. I was like, do you know why? It's like we know, people who know Stu, the man behind the camera. Like he held the camera, and we got to see Stu. He's been there for. I mean, I've been there, and Stu's been there. We've all been there since John Cena's career started. Was it 22 years ago? It's just a long ride, man, and knowing that this is, I get it, we're gonna see Cena again, but not in this form, not lacing up his his sneakers for another match, it's to do a promo or be an ambassador now, but so yeah, dude, it was like as soon as that music hit, because this is it, man, this is and during that entrance, Dre, like when he's going around and we're seeing all the other wrestlers, Kurt Angle's there, Mark Henry's there, they had even Elias was there, Kevin Owens was there, Sami Zayn was there. A lot of these guys were there, and I'm like, okay, this is real, man. Like there's no story, there's no other story. We're all looking and searching for more because we don't want this to be over. We wanted people were like, oh, well, maybe The Rock's going to come in and take his soul or something. You know, he has to pay for his soul. Like, there's going to be another match. Like, even I thought, I heard things, and, you know, you want to believe it because you want Cena to stay. That's why you wanted to believe it. But when you see the tribute videos and you see the people who showed up, it was real, man. Like, they're not here to jerk you around. You know, we did this whole tour. He laid out the dates. There's the shirts, the merch. You know, like, this is it. This is the last match. And Gunther playing his part through the whole match. The deadpan emotion, the coming back with the even more, I believe, heelish type music, going back to his OG music. You know. Later,
which I still think sucks.
I get it, but I get it, Trey.
I think it's a step down for him. This current theme. I get it's his old theme or whatever. This theme is not as good as his other theme. His other theme was so much better, in my opinion. It was more menacing. It had that pseudo Jaws, you know, intro to it. Like, it was a much stronger entrance theme that gave him a much more of a presence. This is just like music, whereas the other one felt more like a theme.
Okay. It is more of a nostalgia for the character for me. I was like, made me think of his NXT days when he was Walter, you know, when he was just that brutal man, dude. And he still is that man. I mean, this guy has done so much in his career, and now he put away Cena, and like, even to the point where like there's looking like there might be a trend with Gunther. You know, we talked about Goldberg retired by him, and now Cena, and we kind of got a little bit of eyeing up AJ Styles. You know, like kind of like, you know, you're next. And then I hear lots of talk still of him and Brock Lesnar getting in the ring together.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
We're not. No.
Gunther this match right here.
But dude, like even early in the match, man, getting right to the chest slaps, and he was slapping Cena hard, man. I bet he was getting a little excited about being retired. He's, man, I won't have to take these chest slaps no more. And then Gunther going right to try to get him to tap out early. You know, trying to get him in that, you know, that what's that, sleeper hold, and then we did get Cena getting the STFU on him, but not as long and not as hard as that sleeper hold was worked on him. We got an early AA, and everybody kicks out of that first AA now, it seems. You know, the finisher finishers aren't finishers anymore. They're not as strong as they used to be. Now you need 2 or 3 or 4 to put somebody away. It's never a one and done anymore. But
I mean, the match itself really, as far as like, you know, the actual action of the match itself.
Yeah,
this wasn't really Cena's best. It wasn't Cena's best match. I mean,
no.
If we're looking back at, you know, his matches throughout the year, you would probably say that the 2 best matches Cena had this year were his SummerSlam match with Cody and the match he had with AJ Styles. Those were clearly the 2 best. This one was, as far as what Cena did, was pretty paint by numbers. His offense pretty much consisted of two series of the 5 moves of doom, a couple of AAs, and an STFU. And that was pretty much the extent of John Cena's offense in this match.
He got that AA through the table.
But it told a good story. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
Is it told the story of Cena's final fight. But obviously oh yeah, something else to add?
The last 5 knuckle shuffle. You want to talk about another little sting there, Dre? You know, given the last 5 knuckle shuffle, the 5 moves of doom. But again, Gunther robbed it from us. With the super kick into a power bomb. I was like, yeah, but the moment was there though, dude. I got the
that
moment.
fucker out too long, and Gunther got up and said, "Man, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit."
You waited 2 fucking business days to get up.
Yep. But obviously, the big climax of the match was Gunther locking in that sleeper hold and John Cena giving everything he had to try to escape it, even breaking it a couple of times, getting to the ropes a few times, even finally managing to power out of it and put Gunther into an AA just for Gunther to kick out, and then immediately put it back on. And then when all was left, and John Cena had done everything he could and given all that he had, we got the final moment of reconciliation, and he just sat there. He just laid there, cracked a simple smile, and just lightly tapped out. Said, "I'm done." Which apparently, for some reason, is extremely controversial with people. For which I'm going to say, well, I'll say this. I thought the finish, in my opinion, was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I have no complaints with it whatsoever. I thought it was a perfect ending to a legendary career. He gave it everything he had. He fought with all he had. He gave everything he could think of to try to get out of that sleeper hold. He tried, and he couldn't. And at the end, what sold it for me was the smile. Because that was John Cena saying, "I'm at peace. I'm okay with this. I've tried it. I've done it all. Given everything I got. I ain't got it. And I'm not going to sit here and pass out." He's like, "I tried. I'm done. This is it. You got it, buddy. You got it. Tap out." People are like, "John Cena shouldn't have tapped out. That was terrible." They either wanted... People wanted one of two things. They either wanted John Cena to win, which is fucking stupid. That wouldn't be consistent with who John Cena is. John Cena is a wrestling historian. He ain't one of these NIL guys who ain't got no connection to wrestling history or nothing like that, or didn't follow this thing or didn't grow up with it. Well, he ain't one of them guys who's like, "I didn't really watch wrestling grow up. I just kind of came into it as the, that." No, he grew up with this shit. He knows the tradition. He's of the same age as us, which means he's young enough to connect with today's generation, but also old enough to have grown up with the old school, with those guys from the 80s, the guys who were on the road 300 days a year, working this thing full time, who broke their bodies in this business. He has that type of old school tradition that he grew up with. The guys that he trained under, that he learned from, that he got that game from. He got the game from those OGs, those real OGs. And what's the old tradition in wrestling? You go out on your back. You go out on your back to pass it on to the next generation. He's that kind of guy. So, of course, he was going to lose his last match. The fact that people want to bring up, like, other guys won in the past. Undertaker won his last match. That's because he's Vince McMahon's bestie. And Vince McMahon is the chief booker, and no way in hell was going to have his bestie lose his match. And that wasn't really an in-ring match. It was more of a production. A freaking... might as well have been a little mini movie or whatever of a match, rather than an actual in-ring match, because we were in COVID at the time. I can only think of two real legends who did not lose their last match. Undertaker, and again, I just explained why he didn't, because Vince McMahon, and Sting.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's because... Huh?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Sting
Stone Cold. That's Sting. Yeah, Sting,
Yeah.
who won his last match. And that's because Tony Khan was a total fanboy for Sting. Sting didn't lose a single match in his last run in AEW. And that last year plus run he had, or a couple years he had in AEW, Sting won every single match he was in. So it is what it is. It's whatever. Sting's final run was about celebrating Sting. So that's it. And yeah, people say, yeah, Stone Cold didn't lose his last match either. Well, yes and no. I mean, he didn't lose his last match because he came back 20 years later to wrestle Kevin Owens. But prior to that...
Impromptu.
I don't want anybody counting them impromptu bullshits. The thing that was generally Stone Cold's last match was what? WrestleMania 19 against The Rock. And he did what? Lost. So Stone Cold had gone out on his back just like everybody else. Now, granted, he did not give it forward to the next generation like, Cena did on other wrestlers in the past, but he went out on a loss, giving a win to his biggest rival who had never beaten him on that stage. So even Stone Cold, gave us a bit of a tradition going out on his back at 19. Yes, he did have the subsequent returns and he had the match with Kevin Owens, yada yada. But for the most part, prior to that, he was with tradition as well. That's what Cena did. And the other option people wanted, if Cena wasn't going to win, was that Cena should have passed out instead of tapped out. He should have just passed out. He's the guy who never gives up. The guy who never gives up, and he gives up in his final match. That's bullshit. John Cena, he never gives up. He gave up 4 times prior to this match. People just act like he ain't never tapped out before. He's tapped out 4 times before this. Once to Chris Jericho, once to Chris Benoit, and twice to Kurt Angle. So your Mr. Never give up, gave up before. Sorry to burst your damn bubbles, y'all. You be aight. It'd be one thing if he had...
Was his tagline never give up when he tapped in those?
I don't know, and I don't care. The point is, he's given up before. Even if the mantra was never give up, it's all thrown away. Or people, the real thing that irked me more than anything is the fact that people blamed Triple H for this. As if somehow Triple H decided that John Cena should tap out in his last match.
Mm-hmm.
As if, Cena was like, I was thinking this. No, fuck that. You tapping out, bitch. Y'all know damn, this was John Cena's last match. He 100% decided how he was going to go out. And he showed that, I think, when he chose to smile before tapping. That was his choice. That was him being, like I said, at peace, reconciled with the end, and okay with it. But anyway, I've rambled enough. Carlos, hop in. What are your thoughts on this? Do you disagree with my opinion on the finish, or what are your thoughts on the finish?
I think that we're gonna get John Cena to come back, and he's gonna reprise his Doctor of Thugonomics persona for his next run.
Sure,
and he'll have a true
Seriously,
retirement.
Seriously, what are your thoughts?
Jay was like,
I was like, seriously, I was like listening. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? All right. Okay.
No, yes, we all smart marks, fantasy bookers with common sense knew that John Cena was going to lose. I think it was mostly telegraphed that it was going to end in a submission. And I think I am okay that he tapped, but character-wise, it just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not a big John Cena fan, so that is like a surprise. But for me, it it doesn't make any sense character-wise because he's giving up and he never gives up is his new mantra. I know that we have those instances, but the whole merchandising has that. So they've built that whole thing of his character. So that's just, I have no issues with the way this, like, I can take it or leave it as far as the tap. He shouldn't have tapped and things like that. But I really don't have any personal animosity towards Hunter. I really have, well, in this instance, I do have it with other things, but that's never going to get settled. So, yeah, as far as this match is concerned, this is just like a standard match, pretty much. Gunter, Walter, whatever his name is, right now is pretty much was doing most of the work, with a couple of rebuttals or comebacks from John Cena, and that's primarily what you would expect because Gunter's supposed to be a big imposing figure, which now that I'm talking about, it just annoys me more that he tapped out to Jay. And then, I feel like that whole bump in the road, I'm going to get over it, but like it just annoys me. No. So I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to get over it. So as far as this match is concerned, I just can't see any other way. Like we mentioned, John Cena is very well educated in the art of professional wrestling, how they enter, how they leave the business, primarily when there's the last match. He even put his designer running shoes in there as part of the leaving your boots ceremony. I'm glad that he didn't leave his jorts.
Like somebody said in the audience, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
the meme of
he
him
should've.
standing
Go
in the
ahead.
ring with just like his tidy whities, I was dying, man. I was fucking dying.
Yeah, so I mean,
That would have
if
been
he's-
too campy. That would have killed the moment.
if he's leaving all of his armbands and everything on there, why didn't what he also should have done is he should have came out with those Reebok pumps one last time, and then a Reebok pump.
He ain't wrestling in them shits on them 48-year-old feet.
I know the plantar fasciitis catches up with everybody after a while, but it would have been nice.
He ain't right. Cena been about this low top life for the last at least 5 or 6 years.
Those are
You look at
Skechers
it, he's a
orthopedics, man. Those were comfortable shoes.
Yeah, but yeah, I think
I'm
this was.
surprised he ain't come out there in some Hokas or something. I'm surprised CM Punk ain't put him on the game yet.
I'm sure he does have Hokas, but I think I've read somewhere that he has a deal with the shoe company. Like he knows somebody with the shoe company.
I don't even know what shoes those are, though. What shoes are those?
Someone showed the brand. I'll see if I can find a picture and I'll share it later in the Discord. But they shared the brand.
They look like vest something.
Yeah, I think this was, unfortunately to me, like the only match that I didn't like. Like it was primarily because of all the hype and everything that went along with it. They built this whole Saturday night's main event for it, and I think it needed a better build than just having some random tournament for it. Like we had John Cena appear at Raws and SmackDowns where he was doing a countdown, and then but no one was really challenging him storyline wise. So just to have his final opponent come from like a tournament, it really didn't give the build or payoff that I think it really needed.
I get that. I think that's a valid complaint. I think that stems from the fact that they limited his dates so much. because obviously since we talked about the match, we can kind of shift to, I guess, looking back at the entirety of Cena's run now. And one of the things that jumps out about this the most is Cena's obviously been doing a lot of media going into this final match. He's done numerous interviews. He did a big interview with Chris Van Vliet for his show. I forgot who. All these little vignettes that they've been showing leading up to the this last match on WWE programming was part of a long form interview he did with somebody, I can't remember who. But in all this media and all these interviews he's done, one of the big things that jumped out to me was that Cena, and he talked about this in his interview with Chris Van Vliet. Cena, one, had started planning this out a few years in advance. I think he said it was around 2023 was when he first pitched this idea to WWE and TKO about doing a farewell tour and such. That's why we got the announcement of it in 2024, because he made the pitch and sold them on it. And from there, going into the planning of it, Cena himself said that he had planned to go the full year. Mm-hmm. Like when he was initially, planning this out, he was going to block out his entire 2025 and completely dedicate the entire year to WWE. He was prepared to do 200 dates this year. And it was WWE who said, "Nah, we don't need that much," and trimmed it down to the 30-something dates we got throughout an entire year. That is frustrating to hear. I'm not saying that Cena should have done 200 dates. I think that was too much. Would have been too much, and I don't know that his body would have been able to hold up for that many dates. But the fact that he was willing to do more than just the 30 that we got, and it was WWE who said no, that sucks. Because we could have gotten more out of this last run. Even if they weren't matches, we could have just gotten more appearances from him in this last run. We could have gotten maybe a Cena and Gunther, face to face in the ring, that I think could have helped add more to this match, even if they were going to go with the tournament aspect. We could have had Cena at ringside during the tournaments, watching these guys, maybe on the mic, giving some commentary, sharing his thoughts on maybe some of these younger up-and-comers like a Carmelo Hayes or somebody who was in the tournament, saying what he thought on them, giving them a little bit of a rub on the mic. That could have made the tournament more interesting.
Yeah.
If John Cena was at ringside watching all these matches to see who his last opponent was going to be. Or again, once Gunther became the winner, if we could have gotten a in-ring exchange, face-to-face with him and Gunther before the match. Let Gunther cut that whole promo about he's going to make him get up and give up, and hear what John Cena's retort would be. That could have added more to the match. So much. We could have gotten more out of this year, but we didn't because WWE said no and said that they didn't need him for that many dates. That's frustrating to hear. But that's one of the biggest things that stuck out to me about it. But aside from that, obviously this is something that people are going to talk about for years to come, as far as John Cena's last run. Was it a success? Was it a failure? Was it this, that, and the third? General consensus seems to be that the heel turn was a failure, and to a certain extent, I agree. The heel turn did not go like they probably hoped. Who's to blame for that? Again, people will talk about that for years to come. I think part of the blame, there's plenty of blame to go around. A lot of it will probably be levied at Triple H. A lot of it will probably be levied at The Rock. And rightfully so. Because whether that was a calculus decision to step away, as he claimed on Unreal, to I'm going to step away and let it be about John and Cody. No, that even at the time when Rock said that in Unreal, I didn't buy it. It seemed more like him trying to save face. I don't know what the truth is. Maybe we'll never know, but that clearly was a misstep. And to think that some signature matches like John Cena versus CM Punk and John Cena versus Randy Orton, those final matches occurred in the midst of that heel run, kind of makes you think that, what if we hadn't gotten that? Could we have possibly gotten better matches out of them the final time? I don't know. That's a conversation that's probably bigger than just this single podcast, and obviously people will talk about it again. We'll touch on it off and on probably for years to come, but just on the surface, what Wayne, what are your initial thoughts on Cena's last year and this overall final run?
I mean, I believe it or not, dude, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, he had if we're looking at stats wise, I actually did pull up some stats here of like views for his highest ranked matches. Like some of his highest rated ones. You're right, dude. John Cena versus AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. John Cena versus Sami Zayn on SmackDown. John Cena versus Logan Paul at Clash in Paris. These are all matches you need to go back and check. John Cena, Rey, and Sheamus versus Judgment Day on Raw. And the lowest matches of the year. We only had 3 of them. We had John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. John Cena versus R-Truth at SmackDown. And then John Cena versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Those were rated the 3 worst. But like, dude, the idea what you were saying about building up the feud with Gunther via the tournament, and not just Gunther, interacting with all the other wrestlers who were in the tournament, getting some maybe mic exchanges between him and LA Knight, getting him mic exchanges between him and The Miz one last time. I mean, dude, the promos would have been, that's all we needed, just the promos, man. I mean, you spend half of the damn 3-hour show of Raw just showing me recaps and just long drawn out video telling me you didn't have time for promos. Man, and the fact knowing that Cena wanted to give us more. Could have been more, but you know what though? At the end of the day, guys, like, I'm happy we got what we got, because some wrestlers don't have that opportunity when they retire. Some wrestlers are forced to retire early. Due to some injuries. Sometimes they're forced to retire early. Sometimes we get caught off guard. One day, after WrestleMania, we get a speech from Edge, saying that, obviously it's vastly changed, but like, there was a point where we thought Edge was done altogether, just out of nowhere. It's just like, oh shit, like, WrestleMania was last night, it's Raw, and he's talking about retiring. Like, and some guys, we get the opportunity to, like, let them run out the rest of their career to they make the calls. Like, AJ Styles says he wants to retire next year. I mean, not a lot of wrestlers get that either. Just saying, hey, this is when I want to retire. So I think Cena being able to give us 1 year, I'll tell you what, dude, it came and went fast. I feel like it wasn't too long ago we were just talking about the beginning of this. And sometimes when you look back, you're like, damn, did we squander? Did we hit this run? Or not? Like, I don't know, man. I hope other wrestlers, I hope they do the same thing. I hope they do the same thing for maybe Orton, or they handle AJ Styles very similar, or any other wrestlers that have the ability to retire on their own terms going out. If we can get something, maybe not a full year or something, but like a program a storyline drawn out, a good one like this, man, like a full year.
Yeah, I don't think everybody. One, I don't think everybody deserves a retirement tour.
Exactly, not everybody deserves one.
Like, right, there's only one John Cena, so everybody doesn't deserve this.
Right.
But I do hope that the guys who are at the point where they're coming up on the end of their career do get to go out the way that they want to go out.
Right.
Whether it's them saying, "Hey, I'm, give me 6 months," or give me this one last program with so and so, or let me announce that, hey, this show's going to be my retirement match, or whatever. However they want to go about it, I just hope that they are allowed to go out on their terms the way they want to.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that WWE would at least afford these people that courtesy and allow them to go out like that. So if AJ Styles decides he wants to, if he goes to them and says, "Hey, I want to retire at this date. Let's come up with and I want to have some sort of farewell program. Let's come up with something." And I hope they oblige that, as opposed to saying, "All right, that's your date. All right, we'll figure out something. Go home. We'll let you know what we figure out for you." I think every wrestler, especially the ones for as much as they've given, they deserve to go out on their terms. I think that's how most fans would want to see them go out.
Mm-hmm.
On their terms, the way that they want, and let us, the fans, appreciate them.
It's just
Carlos.
Yeah.
Carlos, what are your initial thoughts on on Cena's farewell tour?
I think it was just not as good as other retirement tours. I think with the whole I have this many dates, it kind of takes the excitement out of it. Because you had the countdown, and that kind of helped out when he was the heel scene. He shift gears after he loses his title. And now we're back to Cena as we've come to know him for a while. And then they randomly have him win the Intercontinental title from Dominic for like 2.5 weeks, just so he could be a Grand Slam champion. And it just, and then we have Dominic win it back, and it feels like that was like a waste of a title run. And Dominic would have benefited from a win over Cena, whether it was on the Monday Night Raw. That one, you just could have had someone run in, interfere in the match, and then for sure have the real match. What was it, like I said, 2.5 weeks later, however long it was later at Survivor Series, and still have gotten Dominic the win that he would have got over John Cena. So it just annoys me that I feel like this could have been done better, especially the John Cena heel turn. It didn't seem like he was fully committed to it. We did get a few little highlights on there, like when he was forcing the announcer to do the, read from the card and do his long introduction. And I think that was the only thing I liked. I didn't like the whole not coming out with music and just having a black screen that said John Cena type of thing. So
some of those things I actually kind of appreciated. The fact that when he was heel, like, we're going to get rid of all the fanfare. It's just the name, John Cena.
I just would have liked to have something different. Not just like no music.
A different theme?
Yeah.
See, John Cena talked about that. He actually talked about that in an interview in terms of why he did not go with a different theme. I don't remember everything he said verbatim, but basically he said that if this was going to be a longer run than just 1 year,
Yeah, I
like if this
understand
was
that.
something that he would have done like maybe mid-career or something like that, then yeah, it would have made sense to obviously change up the theme and all that. But given that we were in 1 year and a limited number of dates, it didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to try to change up the theme or make these gradual change, these big changes for a heel turn, because stuff like that typically takes time to get over with fans. As far as, a theme that gets over with the fans as a heel and all this, that, and 30. And to a certain extent, he's correct about that. A lot of people, when they change up or go from, face to heel or something like that, and they change up their music or whatever, it doesn't always initially hit. It does take time for people to develop that connection with that heel character and with that heel music and all that stuff, and to form that bond with that to where they become invested in who that person is as a heel. But since we were dealing with such limited time with John Cena on this farewell tour, it didn't make sense to go through all of that change just for the heel. It just made, they just worked with what they had with the limited time that they had, which was keep the theme, because that's what everybody's connected to, but change up the presentation, which is obviously getting rid of all the colors and everything, just going to black screen, him walking with his back, with the belt around backwards, and just doing these subtle things that he could do that he could make work within the short time frame that they had of his run. Like I said, and hearing him explain it, once he explained it, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It kind of explains why they those decisions.
Well, you explained this to me. This is the Chris Van Vliet one.
I want to say it was in the Chris Van Vliet interview. Yes,
I'm gonna have to watch that, because if he's aware that it takes time for someone to warm up to the music or invest in the character, then he should have been against the heel turn to begin with.
maybe so. There's an argument there definitely for that. From what I've gathered, from what I've heard in interviews and other, like he's done a number of interviews. Like I said, Chris Van Vliet, the one he did for WWE. He even did one with Stephanie McMahon for her What's Your Story podcast, but that was maybe about a month ago. So he's not quite really reflecting on the run as much as in that interview. If you really want the interview where he's reflecting on this last year, then the Chris Van Vliet interview is the one to listen to or watch on YouTube. But he also just appeared on Cody's podcast.
I'm not listening to Cody.
Huh?
But thank you. I'm saying I'm not going to listen to Cody, but thank you.
Well, I'm probably going to check it out because I think there's him and Cody talk about some stuff in the last run as well. One of the things that they talk about in it is the heel turn itself and making that work. And from what I've gathered, from what I'm hearing from him, and even a little bit from Cody, I think in that interview, which again I haven't listened to the whole thing, but it seems to me, again this is just my speculation, it seems to me that there were different plans for the heel turn. Like the heel turn as it occurred at what was that, Elimination Chamber, as it took place on that show, that was the plan. And for what it's worth, people can, say the heel turn was a failure or whatever have you. That moment itself worked. The actual moment of him hugging Cody, the face turn, Rock doing the cutthroat, Cena's, face switching up and then kicking him. That moment worked. It shocked everybody. Everybody reacted to it. It went completely viral. It was the talk of the wrestling world. John Cena turned heel, yada, yada. That moment worked. It's what followed afterwards that failed, that did not work. And it seems like, from what I've gathered, a big reason why it did not work is because The Rock and Travis Scott backed out. Or Travis Scott did whatever he did, his flaky shit, his non-commitment. but also a big factor of it was The Rock backing out. And at some point, Rock's going to have to answer for that and offer up a explanation that people buy.
Not if he never comes
I'm
back.
He'll come back at some point. But because the excuse he gave on Unreal, I'm not buying it. That just seems like him trying to save face. I think him saying that he wanted to make the story about John and Cody, and he decided to step away. No, I think that's total bullshit. I'm just gonna say I think it's bullshit. I think he's bullshitting us. There was some other reason, whatever that reason was, I don't know, but at some point the truth is gonna have to come out about what really happened. But I think that's what affected the heel turn a lot. Was the absence of The Rock involved in it. I think he was initially meant to have more of a role in this heel turn, and once he was out, John and Cody and them, rather than lingering on, oh man, now what are we gonna do? They were just focused on, this is where we're at, what do we got to do to make it work going from here. So it seems like they pretty much kind of had a monkey wrench thrown in their plans, and from there just had to move forward kind of sort of on the fly, or come up with new plans after their original plans kind of got monkey wrenched.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to fault them too much for that, because, again, like I said, it seems like plans got kind of, I don't want to say sabotage. Again, I'll just use the term monkey wrenched by people backing out who were probably supposed to play bigger roles in it the way it was initially planned out.
All right.
All right, guys. Dude, I feel like we could go on and on about John Cena's last match here, because I love how you guys both have definitely different opinions on it. Carlos, I did not know. Sounds like you haven't had a good ride on this John Cena last ride. I'm very surprised.
To me, it just seems like it wasn't completely thought out, and it would have benefited having John Cena there. Started from when he originally planned, like in 2023.
Right.
And I'm also not a fan of announcing when your last date is gonna be.
Yeah.
I kind of like the runs that we had of retirement, runs of before, like the Ric Flair one where he was on that whole thing where when he lost his last match, that would be his last match.
Ooh, yeah.
Those kind of make sense to me because it kind of spells it out for you. And Bryan Danielson had that whole thing where he held the AEW title and he was gonna keep wrestling as long as he had the title.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought for sure he was gonna continue, but that whole thing of him just holding it for like 2 months and then losing it at Wrestle Dream when they were having it in Spokane or somewhere in Washington where he's from. I just thought that this was his tour and he was at least gonna hold it for like 6 to 8 months, but to have it in right there, I didn't. It just it caught me by surprise. So it's good to have like something like that where you have, it's the last run, but you don't know when it's gonna be the last match, and I think that takes away the whole like not the suspense, but like I'm not sure what the word is, but it leaves you with less to criticize and to pick apart and pull apart when you focus on what actually happened than what could have happened instead of what has happened. So
yeah, I get what you're saying. I think there's a there's a valid argument both ways. I think is whether it is whether it's a end that comes out of nowhere, out of surprise, like a Flair or Bryan Danielson, or whether it is something that is telegraphed ahead of time. I think there's valid arguments for both. Like I said, if it's telegraphed in advance, that gives people time to prepare and get ready to accept the end and plan for it. Yeah, plan for it. If it's something that you really want to see, like I want to see this person's last match. I want to be able to witness it. You can plan for that and prepare for it and make sure you're there to witness it if that's what you want to do. Whereas if it comes out of surprise out of nowhere, you may miss it. If it's a show that's, for some reason you miss and it turns out that was their last match. Well, fuck, you missed it. And now you end up having to watch a replay or trying to avoid social media or this, that, and the third, So, I mean, there's that. There is also, valid justification for the other route, because if you don't announce it in advance, you can just focus on just telling the best story you can up until whatever point you decide to end it. And just, let's make the most of this moment. Let's make the most of this moment. Let's make the most of this one. All right, this one I want to end it. All right, cool. This is where we're going to end it. And let's just, tell the best story possible. Because obviously inside the company, they know where the end is going to be, where the end is going to come. Whether we know it or not is really the only difference. They inside the company, they knew WrestleMania was going to be Rick's last match. AEW knew that what do you say, Wrestle Dream?
Yeah, Wrestle Dream
was going to be Bryan Danielson's last match. They knew that internally. They just chose not to share it with us. So, and like I said, there are pros and cons to both. And I think it's kind of on a case-by-case basis as far as how to do it. And again, that's why I said earlier, I like for the wrestler to be able to decide how they go out. If they want to tell the fans in advance, hey, this is going to be my last match, let them. If they decide to just tell the bosses, all right, I'm thinking of retiring on this date, and let's come up with the best story that we can tell between now and then to lead to my retirement. Like I said, it's either or. My biggest thing is, like I said, I want a wrestler to be able to go out on their terms, how they want to go out. As long as the wrestler's happy with how they go out, then I think the fans can more or less accept it or not accept it. But if the wrestler's satisfied with how they went out, then we have less chance of them trying to come back after the fact because they feel like they left something on the table or doing something that could potentially tarnish or put a damper on what have otherwise been a great ending. Looking at you, Ric Flair. Ric Flair had seemingly the perfect ending at WrestleMania in his match with Shawn Michaels. And then what we get a couple of years later? That final match that took place on an indie show, nowhere. Some fans showing up, Rick damn near dying in the fucking ring, bleeding to death and shit. And a clusterfuck of a match. Well past his prime. Well past when he should have hung it up. Or you get Undertaker and Shawn at Crown Jewel.
Botching moonsaults and
Right.
carrying pectoral muscles.
Right.
Looking at you, Hunter.
Yeah. That's the stuff we don't need from people going out. We just need their final matches to be their final matches, and if they can go out on their terms and the way they dictate, the way they decide, then hopefully we'll be left with good memories. Any other final thoughts on this Saturday night main event, this last PLE of the year?
No, man, I think it was pretty good. I think as far as PLEs go, it's been a while since we've had a pretty good one, and this is, for me, it was pretty good. I enjoyed the whole damn thing. So, yeah, I have some numbers to run by you guys.
All right.
Some numbers over John Cena's career here. John Cena has had 467 wins, 194 losses, only 32 draws. His top 5 most frequently faced opponents. He's had 77 matches with Randy Orton, 55 matches with Big Show, 52 matches with Edge, 42 matches with The Miz, and 41 matches with Kane. Didn't see that coming. If you'd like to know, John Cena has held 25 titles. He's held the WWE Championship 13 times, the World Heavyweight title 3 times, surprisingly, the United States title 5 times, the WWE Tag Team titles twice, and the WWE World Tag titles twice. Shortest match, it was 46 seconds against Chavo Guerrero. That was Raw, February 23rd, 2009. His longest match was over an hour long versus Randy Orton in what we probably got the last real Iron Man match, Bragging Rights, 2009. He's had 4 tag team reigns, but he's had 2 tag team betrayals. He's done. Here's an interesting fact: total number of freestyle raps, 91 freestyle raps. People he's beaten at WrestleMania: Big Show, JBL, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Edge, The Miz, and Maurice, Rusev, Bray Wyatt, The Rock, Batista. And these are people who've beaten him at WrestleMania. That would be Randy Orton, The Miz, and The Rock.
And Bray.
And what?
Didn't technically Bray Wyatt win in the Funhouse, Firefly Funhouse?
Oh, I forgot about that match.
With The Fiend?
Jeez. Firefly Funhouse. Oh, yeah. I think you might be right, dude.
WrestleMania 33? No, 36.
30. I think it might be 36.
Yeah, it's 36.
Let me see. 1,943 days is his combined time as champion, including a 380-day reign, which is a huge part of his legacy. We did touch on him being Grand Slam champion. He's the 25th Grand Slam champion. Royal Rumble wins. He's run the Rumble in 2008 and 2013, including a win for the number 30th spot. 650 plus wishes he's granted. He holds the Guinness World Book of Records for granting the most wishes in the Make-A-Wish Foundation, far surpassing any other celebrity. Man, it just goes on and on. I mean, John Cena is just, by the numbers, the guy's put in the fucking work, man, and it shows. Put in the work. 2 other things I would like to touch on. This week, Monday Night Raw. It's pretty good. You know what? Dude, before Raw even started, I'm sitting at home, I'm like, Raw should start with Gunther coming out, Like, how else are you going to do this? You got to have him come out with the heat. The heat, man. I mean, did you guys watch Raw on Monday?
Yeah. I mean, we said that in the Discord, I think, that night that, I said on social media that night that, yeah, Raw needed to open up with Gunther because he was going to have nuclear heat. I mean, we saw there were videos circulating online that Gunther needed security leaving the arena because fans were so pissed off. There's a video of fans cussing him out as he was going to the bus or whatever and shit. So yeah, we knew the heat was there when he came out. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's good heat though, right? Like that's wrestling heat again. Like when fans are
that's
bothering you in the
school
parking
heat.
lot. That's what I'm talking about. Old school heat, right? You're absolutely right. Well, it's like, oh man, could you imagine that? Like, you know, you just got done seeing Avengers Endgame and you see Josh Brolin in the parking lot and you're just like, fuck you, man. Fuck you for snapping away half the goddamn universe. Fuck you. It's like, dude, it's just a movie. No, man. Like, fuck you. Yeah, I do, dude. I think that nuclear heat's awesome. And the fact that we got Gunther on Raw saying that, you know, John Cena tapped out like a bitch. Oh, man, just laying into that fucking heat. Just gasoline on the fire. I love it. You know, seeing AJ Styles he's getting in the car, he sees AJ Styles, and then, you know, he's driving away, then he rolls down the fucking window and he does the "you can't see me" shit. Like, dude, I love it. I fucking love it, man. And what I didn't get is he's walking backstage, right? And he sees, like, you know, was that American Alpha or whatever? Or not
Alpha
American
Academy,
Alpha,
yeah.
Alpha Academy. And they're like, but you feel
like
good
a mall
about
people,
yourself.
like,
They're like, well,
fuck that they mad at him.
well, Dre, here's the thing, man. They're like, but you feel good about yourself, huh? Yeah. And then, you know, you see Aldis, you know, oh, I bet you feel real good, like a big man. You go out there and you know.
No, that was Adam Pearce.
No, Adam Pearce. That's who it was. Who did I say? Nick
Which
Aldis.
that one made no sense to me. Like,
it didn't, right?
You're the general manager. What the fuck do you care? Why are you in your feelings about him beating John Cena?
That's just that. Like, you're mad at me for going to work and doing my job and having a match?
Hey,
like, you fucking knew this was happening. I was scheduled a match against him. You're mad because I won? The fuck?
Are you mad because I came out and talked shit afterwards? Like, bitch, I'm a heel. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Why are you acting brand new about this?
Yeah, it's like I beat Cena. I just
going out there and disgracing his legacy. Blah blah blah.
Man,
that's the time that I wish like that them being on Netflix freed them up to cuss a little bit. Because right then, that's when Gunther should have been like, "Fuck you,
fuck me, no, fuck you." Dude, we got shit. How many times have you guys seen the Usos versus the New Day? Enough, right?
Tons
And tons. I'll tell you what. Out of all their matches this week, this sucked. It was bad, and I didn't think those four could put on a bad match. It's just I don't know, man. I just wasn't buying it. It was just a bad Raw match, and I was kind of hyped seeing the Usos and the New Day go at it again, but womp womp womp. What else did we get on Raw? Oh, Maxine Dupree. She had a
we got
match.
that banger match of Maxine Dupree.
I'm about to say, don't just say that like in passing. That was arguably one of the best matches on the show. Freaking a sleeper match, really.
Yeah.
Maxine Dupree and Ivy Now, like they had a good match, and Maxine Dupree is probably the most improved wrestler of the year. If you think about where she was at the beginning of this year, which was what? Just walking around backstage with Alpha Academy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if she was really having matches like that at the beginning of this year. Maybe she was, but they weren't much. Or just getting, punked by people.
Mm-hmm.
And then here she is now as women's IC champion, having legitimate good matches, not having to be carried by people, but holding her own, finding her own character in ring, getting these dope vignettes with Natalya backstage. I mean, not Natalya backstage, but getting these dope vignettes with Natalya as her trainer. Like I said, that kip up she did in the middle of the match, where rather than doing a kip up like everybody else does, all nice and quick, like she did it, but slowly with the back bend, and then had that look on her face, like, come. That was, to me, that match was the highlight of the show for me, honestly. because she has come so far, and her growth and development since first appearing on the main roster as Maxine Dupree's sister of
Max
LA Knight.
Dupree.
Max,
Yeah.
no, he wasn't Max, was he?
Yeah, I think he was at the time. Because then I remember him saying, like, "Oh, no, now I'm LA Knight." Like, he did, like, a whole promo backstage on it.
I thought he had a different name, though, other than Max Dupree. But either way, from her debut then as that to where she is now, again, and this is only in a couple of years. And she, unlike some people, she didn't have the benefit of spending that time in NXT developing or this and the third. She kind of just hit the ground running on the main roster, sink or swim. And you can tell she's put the work in. She has 100% put the work in, and it shows. So I've got nothing but praise for her.
Nice.
It is Max Dupree. I just looked it up and confirmed.
Okay, it was Max Dupree?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, dude, the promo. We got CM Punk coming out, cutting a promo on Braun Breaker, mentioning, your Dumb and Dumber Steiner math. GTS equals 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm just trying to like recap some of the stuff. If you haven't seen Punk's promo calling Scott Steiner a dumbass or whatever he's calling him, stupid. That was a good promo.
It was a good promo. It was a really good promo.
Fire. Anytime Punk gets on the mic, it's fucking good. Let's face it. Oh God, dude, the match with Stephanie Vicaire and Raquel getting that knot on her fucking forehead, like immediately. Like, did you guys see that? Like getting thrown into those steps and just looked like a softball.
I saw it back. I didn't see it in real time on the show, but I did see it backstage when when she cut the promo backstage. That she had a hell of a knot. Apparently, she's in concussion protocol now.
Yeah. Again, we get Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. I know it's a little different now. Logan's with the Vision, but I'm like, we're running this back again? Rey and Logan Paul again?
And is he with the Vision?
I think so, man. He's been there the past couple weeks.
I would assume so.
Games,
All right, yeah, he's pretty much been with them since
War Games, man.
Since War Games, yeah. I would assume he's part of it now.
Yeah, I mean, because like when we had Bronson Reed come back from injury, he didn't join with the Bloodline again. But yeah, like it seems like this is sticking after War Games, and not a lot of team ups stick together after War Games. Normally they go their separate ways, but yeah. Also, would you guys like to hear SmackDown spoilers, considering it's kind of on live right now?
It'd be ending in 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Or do you guys not want to know? Do you guys want to keep it to yourselves?
Well, I do plan on actually watching SmackDown at some point.
Right. I won't spoil it then. I won't spoil it for everybody. You know what? Because it'll make you have to go and look for it and watch it. How about that? And we've been running late anyway. But you know what? Before we go, I want to try to squeeze in something on the bracket. Try to squeeze something in. All right. Now, we all know it's is it the recent anniversary? Or not recent anniversary, but was it like past few days, one of the few days of Bret, that famous match with Bret Hart and Goldberg, right? It made me think, oh yeah, I have a match. Fantasy match. Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. Right? And then I had Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, when it comes to picking out Goldberg versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, are you guys thinking in your head Goldberg like 2004 coming to WWE? Or are you thinking just WCW Goldberg, the streak is alive still? Stone Cold Steve Austin, peak Attitude Era, before he originally left the company, 2002, I would think. These are two wrestlers who were on different shows and never had the opportunity to cross paths. And when they were on the same roster, Stone Cold wasn't wrestling. He was a co-general manager, I believe, maybe at the time, during Goldberg's one run in 2004. And then when Goldberg returned, Stone Cold was long gone. And,
Well, Goldberg did take a stunner from Stone Cold Steve Austin.
We did see that. Yep.
At WrestleMania 20 in the match after the match with Brock Lesnar.
Yep. We did see that. That's really all they kind of crossed paths, right? I don't really remember them ever crossing paths.
That's pretty much the only time that's the only time they crossed paths.
Yeah.
Because Austin came back. Austin was obviously already retired. He just came back as the special guest referee for that match.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of a mix up with Austin and Brock Lesnar leading into that match, where I think Austin whooped Brock Lesnar's ass a little bit after something leading up to that match. And then, like I said, obviously the match after that themselves, both Lesnar and Goldberg caught stunners because the fans pretty much hated both of them because both of them were leaving after that match. Brock was leaving WWE for UFC. Remember, he obviously flipped off the audience on the way out and then ate the stunner. And then Goldberg, that was the last day on his run, which was a lackluster-ass run, that first run of 2004, because it didn't live up to expectations. So fans weren't too happy with him either. And the match itself sucked.
Right. All right, now I want to touch base on Kurt Angle and Bret Hart. Whew, man, both these guys in their prime. I would have loved to have seen this freaking match. This would have been a really good match. I don't even know who would even have gone over in this match. As we know, Bret Hart retired October in 2000. After being released by WCW due to a severe concussion suffering from a kick by Bill Goldberg in late 1999, forcing him out of retirement permanently.
Forcing him into retirement.
Forcing him into retirement. Sorry, I said out of retirement. Into retirement. And, we remember him briefly coming back and winning the United States title and helping beat Nexus. I try not to think about that. And then didn't he wrestle Vince? I think.
Yes, he wrestled Vince when he came back to the company to get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Right, but
him and all of the Harts came out to help him beat Vince.
I do recall that. So, we're talking let's say we'll pluck Bret Hart out from the late 90s, right? And then the thing with Kurt Angle retired April 7th, 2019, losing to Baron Corbin. But a lot of people... Sorry, there's a loud car going by my house. A lot of people would say that Kurt Angle's best years were in TNA. And I didn't watch a lot of TNA back when Kurt Angle was in. But I hear it from a lot of different people who did watch TNA and who did watch WWE, saying his best years were in TNA. Did you guys ever catch some of his stuff in TNA? Nope. Okay.
No,
Carlos?
not at all. No.
Yeah, but I mean, this is one of those things where, hey, if WWE ever acquires TNA, in full, and we get that library. Man, that right there. I mean, wherever it is, Peacock, Hulu, wherever, Netflix, wherever we're gonna have the WWE library, adding TNA content to it one day, that would open up a whole lot of, stuff I'd want to watch. Not just AJ Styles, but also I want to see some Kurt Angle. But WWE, for me, it's like when he's doing, feuds with Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero and Brock Lesnar. That's when I'm thinking, when he's peak Angle for me. Put him in the ring with late 90s Bret Hart, that's something I think I would want to see that over Goldberg and Stone Cold. But I want to get your guys' opinion. Dre, what's your opinion, man? Out of this pick, what fantasy match would you want to see?
I mean, the obvious answer is Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. I mean, Goldberg, Prime Goldberg, for one, there's only one Prime Goldberg, and that's his WCW run. Mm-hmm. It's his undefeated streak up until when he lost the World Heavyweight title to Kevin Nash at, God, was that Halloween Havoc or Starrcade when he lost? It might have been Starrcade.
Halloween Havoc.
It was one of the two when he lost the title to Kevin Nash, and because he got the cattle prod from Scott Hall that took him out. But Prime Goldberg is that run from the debut to the end of the streak. That's Prime Goldberg. That's what his legacy is built on. That's what everybody celebrates. That's what everybody wanted to see when he came to WWE. That's why people were disappointed in his first run in WWE, because he didn't get that. And he wasn't just smashing people. He was actually having long, drawn-out matches, which was not Goldberg's forte, because he's not that great of a wrestler and never has been. But that's Prime Goldberg. Prime Stone Cold, we all know what that is. It's Attitude Era. Those two are two very conflicting styles, and I don't know how you make a good match out of that. Out of a guy who squashes people in less than 5 minutes versus this badass brawler of a champion. What Goldberg gets his offense in, Stone Cold kicks out, then what's Goldberg got left? I feel like the only way that match would work, it'd be less than 10 minutes. Whereas you give us prime Bret Hart and prime Kurt Angle, you can have an Iron Man match that would be a fucking classic. It would be an absolute wrestling classic. And for me, from what it's worth, my version of prime Kurt Angle is bald-headed Kurt Angle. Around 2002 to 2003. To me, that's my version of prime Kurt Angle. When he had Team Angle, when he had World Greatest Tag Team with Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas at his side, that's my favorite version of Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that's not. I like that.
You could
angle.
you could say late Attitude Era. His debut, that first rookie year, Kurt Angle, or when he still had the hair, was pretty great. But to me, when he went bald and he was the undisputed champion, peak. That was Kurt at his peak. So, give me that one versus prime Bret Hart, which is obviously, when he's the champion, face of the company, probably during the New Generation era. Put those two together, it's a classic. It's an immediate classic. So I'll take that all day.
Carlos, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, we're gonna go with Kurt Angle and Bret Hart, and Starrcade was Starrcade, 1998.
Okay, it was Starrcade, 98. Okay.
And yeah, there's nothing else that I can add more than Dre's already said about that match. Goldberg kind of had like 5 moves of doom type of thing. So after that, he was probably winded, and what else do you book from there, Mm-hmm. It's pretty much going to be a very boring match. So with Kurt Angle and Bret Hart, you could pretty much go anywhere with that match. It could be an all grappler match, type of technician type of match. You can blend in other things with that. You could do a lot of prop matches, like an I Quit match.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I
was doing an I Quit match would be
mm-hmm.
great.
An Iron Man match, like Dre already mentioned. So there's more possibilities with that, and that's the only answer here.
Yeah, and what's nice is these guys can they can put on a good match, even if we don't have a crazy stipulation. Even if it's just a normal match, you're going to get a good quality match. And it's one of those matches where it's like, that's got to be a pay-per-view. You can't do that on a Raw. You can't do that on a Raw. That's PLE.
And not just a good match. You could get a good feud out of those two.
Yeah.
Imagine you could get pro Canada heel Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle, American Olympic champion.
Ooh, look at you writing the story. I like that.
Yeah, and that could make for a good feud. Or you could have arrogant ass heel Kurt Angle, when he was, intensity, integrity, intelligence, that douchebag heel of a Kurt Angle versus traditional babyface Bret Hart. And it would work. They would
you
could literally do anything with those two, and it would work.
Man, these fantasy matches are getting better and better.
Thanks a lot, Goldberg. You took this match away from us.
Yo, that's fucking true. I very much believe we could have gotten, if we got Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels, we could have gotten Kurt Angle versus Bret Hart. So
100%. Yeah, if Bret Hart had been forced into retirement, well, maybe not. Because even if Bret had not been forced into retirement and was able to wrestle, there's no guarantee that after WCW is bought out that he comes back to WWE.
Yeah, dude.
Because remember, those feelings were still very real for Bret Hart at that time. He could have just done like what everybody else did and just sat home, collected the rest of his money, and when he decided to wrestle again, he could have done like Sting did and gone to TNA or something.
Yep. That would have been interesting, right?
So maybe we would have gotten Bret Hart versus Angle in TNA, but might not have gotten it in WWE.
Yeah. I feel like we would have. I feel like with those two type of guys, they would have. Whoever had them in the company, they would have. Whatever it took to get to that point. Like, you're right, man. If it was in TNA, we would have gotten it anyway. Nice. Well, that's all I got, guys. Doyle. I'm not Doyle. Dre, do you want to plug anything?
Nothing really to plug. Just, as always, follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/podcast championship wrestling.
Yeah. Carlos, anything you want to plug? Anything coming up?
Let's see. I did recently go on my friend's podcast, our Pad TV, where I did a review the top 3 shows that I think of 2025 that I enjoyed on there. If people have time to look that up on YouTube, it's only on YouTube. And Arpad Video, I believe, is his channel. And we talk about that. We recently did our WrestleMania 37 show, if you haven't got a chance to listen or watch that. And I believe we might be able to get out, not WrestleMania 38, but I think it's going to be... People always ask us what are our favorite top 5 WrestleMania matches. So we're gonna actually take this by 1 through 10. So we're probably gonna do our favorite top 5 matches from WrestleManias 1 through 10. If it doesn't come out this next Saturday, the 27th, I think I'll have it out before New Year's. If it's not the 27th, the 28th. But that should be coming out shortly. I just got to finalize the recording.
Nice.
And I just saw a spoiler from SmackDown, so now I gotta watch it.
See? Look at that. And I didn't give any spoilers.
Now
what
you
I
might
get.
as well just say everything else.
Nope,
Wait.
because no, don't spoil it. Because I didn't say what it was. I just said I saw a spoiler.
Oh, man. Is the
And
spoiler...
given what it is?
Is the spoiler
I'm
that...
not saying shit.
that
I'm
they're
not
going-
saying shit.
that
I
they're-
saw it, and it makes me want to tune in and watch.
Oh, man. I bet I know what it is, Carlos. It's the announcement of SmackDown going to 3 hours in January.
What?
Back to 3 hours. Why? I would love if Raw was 2 hours, SmackDown 2 hours.
I mean, well, Raw is technically 2 hours. It's like 2 hours 20, 2 hours and a half. So
Yeah, I guess you're right. Trying to stay positive. So, man, I already knew all the spoilers for SmackDown. I'm still gonna watch it though. I'm gonna watch it. I'm on my vacation that just started, so I have like the next 10 days off. So, yippee!
nice.
I know, right? Super excited. So, I just saw the spoiler that he's talking about. I had to go into the Discord. But I
Now
wanted
you
to
can say,
SmackDown.
thanks a lot, Doyle.
Yeah, Doyle. Yeah, this fucking guy. Not even on the show, and he finds a way to... You know? I do have his... He sent me some audio clip of his opinion of Saturday Night Main Event, so I'm gonna send that to him. Or I'm gonna not send it to him. I'm gonna put it on the show here at the end. Let's, add it to the end. No big deal. But that's all I got, guys. I think we've been on here long enough. 2.5 hours. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Oh, it's me, it's the DOILE, and I am up to my ears in Christmas concerts. Yay! So I'm sorry to have to phone in once again, boys. I actually really like Christmas music, but I don't like Christmas. Figure that one out. So, we will get to, of course, John, Felix, Anthony, Cena in just a moment. But let's talk about the rest of Saturday night's main event before that. So first of all, way too much Stephanie McMahon. I mean, really, any Stephanie McMahon is too much Stephanie McMahon. But holy fuck, do I never need to see that lady on my TV screen ever again. Anyway, so the first match, we had, probably the biggest of the prelim matches anyway, with Cody versus Obafemi. And somebody called it, I think it was Ray, called Drew interfering, and yeah, I mean, that seemed kind of obvious. The only problem I had with that is that Cody was getting his ass kicked. Like, if a heel's going to interfere in a match, shouldn't the babyface be winning? And shouldn't a triumphant babyface, I'm sorry, or heroic babyface, white meat babyface, which is what Cody's supposed to be, wouldn't he have not wanted to accept a win in that manner? Wouldn't he have wanted to have the match restarted or something like that? I digress. But yeah, I mean, in all the sense in the word, you can't have Obafemi losing his, big debut or biggest match thus far anyway. And you certainly can't have your world champion pinned by a minor leaguer, so-called. So it was a fun match, but I kind of felt like the Drew interference should have happened at a moment where Cody had the upper hand, and I think he was asking. Then we went on to Sol Ruka versus Bayley, the match I said would be the match of the night, and I'm going to stand by that. I think this was the best match of the night. Real fun. I mean, obviously, Sol Ruca is incredible. She's going to be a major player, I think. Hopefully, I'm just kind of afraid she's a star that may burn bright and quick. She might need to adapt her ring style a little bit, make it a little safer. I mean, she can do some shit that nobody else can do, which is awesome. I just kind of fear for her long-term ability to continue to defend, to fight other women. Cool moment after the pin. I don't think the camera was supposed to catch this, but huge grin on Bayley's face. Actually, maybe it was probably Pam, not Bayley. Maybe a little moment that wasn't supposed to make its way onto the television screen, but still a cool moment. I mean, you knew Bayley was just fucking over the moon to put her over. And rightly so. I mean, she's great. Bayley's great, of course. I mean, what more can we say about her? But yeah, a really fun match. Which led into the tag match. AJ Lee versus Javon Evans and Leon Slater, I want to say his name was. I'm not real familiar with him. But, this was a very fun match. But shit, what was it? Only a little over 5 minutes? Like, we couldn't have found these guys another few minutes to get some stuff in. Still a fun match. Kind of almost a lucha style match, which was cool. Like I said, I kind of wish they had a little more time. Maybe because things were so rushed, some things kind of felt a little deliberate, maybe. But whatever, still fun, kind of car crashy, sort of, people flying everywhere sort of match. So it was fun. And then the main event of Saturday night's main event, the last time is now, or it was anyway. I mean, this was fun enough that this went almost exactly how I thought it would and should. And really the only nitpick I would have is that I thought Cena might have tried to get out of that last sleeper a second time before, kind of resigning his fate. And that's basically what I think the smirk was. Somebody as polarizing as John Cena, we see his last match. It's only appropriate that the finish of his last match is incredibly polarizing. Some people hated it, some people loved it. I loved it. I thought the smirk was perfect. And it was, it was him just saying, look, I don't have any more. I'm not getting out of this. I'm done, And I thought that worked brilliantly. Kind of expected more after the match than we got. But at the same time, I wouldn't have changed it either. Maybe a speech or something might have felt too forced or whatever. Of course, and I'm sure you guys were mentioning, we saw Vince McMahon for the first time in quite a while. Granted, it was, in an older video clip. But I don't know, maybe this is a soft launch of reintroducing Vince back. I don't know. That'll be interesting to monitor going forward. And how do you erase that guy from your history, even if you wanted to? But yeah, good for John Cena going out the way he did. If anybody deserves it, it's him. For me, not the greatest of all time, but certainly someone that ought to be in the discussion. How could you not leave out the guy with the most championships? Beyond that, the Make-A-Wish stuff, just a fucking good guy, he seems like. And one of the things I have really enjoyed the most about this retirement tour is just the dearth of both new interview clips of him and kind of strange old stuff resurfacing. There's a couple. There's a. I think I shared it in the Discord months ago, but there was an interesting video of him talking about food, and I didn't realize he's a huge coffee snob. Apparently, he contains multitudes, and not just because he's a fellow masshole. And by the way, guys, I can say masshole. You guys can't say masshole. That's one of those things. But just a great guy. Seems like contains multitudes. And I was always I hated Super Cena kind of guy, but now that he's gone, now that he's left us, you can kind of look at the career and its totality. Boy, I mean, he left us better than he found us, shall we say. And that's really the most you can ask for. So fare thee well, Mr. Cena. You will be missed. I'm glad you were able to go out on your own terms. Almost nobody gets to do that in the wrestling business, so good for him. And I guess that's all I have to say about that. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever the fuck else you like. If you do Festivus, happy that. I'm gonna go listen to more Christmas music. Yay! I'll catch you guys on the next one. Go Pats, go Bees, go C's, and let's go Cena. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. You are the world's dumbest son of a bitch.
The fact that day in and day out for almost 6 years I have proved to everybody in the world that I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary. Nobody can touch me.
You are not ready for Oscar!
Because the Street Profits are up and we want the smoke. You're next. Talk about your songs, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass. Well, let me tell you something, brother. New day.
Cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah, Macho Madness here.
Welcome to the Kevin Owens Show.
Lately, he just hasn't been very oozy.
Because I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome. Those rotten bastards.
Bye-bye, bitch.